Hello, and thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the C&P exam. You filed your claim, you feel like everything's good, and now you got the notice for your C&P exam. What now? If this is something that you're looking forward to, please hit that like button. It really helps to get the YouTube algorithm to get this information out there to other of us that need it. If we don't take care of each other, something went wrong. So please hit that like button, subscribe, share it with a friend. Comment if you have any comments to share, especially on your experience with the C&P exam, right? They're not always the same. So with that, let's get into it. You may have filed your claim with the VA, feel as though you have everything dialed in. You've sent them all of your evidence, ideally. You've supplied them your service information, anything that links your condition. And now you have this C&P exam. So what is the C&P exam? First of all, the C&P exam is something you should not be stressed down about, in my opinion. It's if you're prepared, it's smooth sailing and fairly simple. C&P is compensation and pension. C&P exam. So there's two monetary benefits with the VA. One is compensation for your disabilities, disability compensation. The other is pension. That's an income-based monetary benefit for low-income veterans. Okay, so it's not pension like retirement. It's really kind of a safety net for our veteran population. So chances are, in this video you are watching for disability compensation. Now, you must be prepared. There's two things that you should absolutely do prior to your C&P exam. One is there is a list of DBQs on the VA's website, which I will link in the comments below. DBQ is Disability Questionnaire. And essentially, this is what the examiner, the medical examiner, is going to be using to ask you questions. So you might as well know ahead of time essentially what they're looking at. And it should be pretty much identical. There could be some extras in there, but you'll get the gist of what they're looking for, the questions that they're going to be asking. So that just helps to ease some of the anxiety that you're going to have. Now, let's use heartburn. Bad heartburn, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, as this example here. Okay, so there's a DBQ for that, and there's a whole list of questions and so forth on there. Ideally, you may have already printed this thing off and given it to your primary doctor and had them complete it for you and submitted that with part of your evidence. And if not, that's fine too. But it's good to read through the DBQ. Okay, so I've beaten that dead horse. So that's one. Two, this is really where the rubber meets the road for your disability compensation C&P exam, and quite frankly, your end result, your rating. The whole reason you're going through this is to get a VA rating for that condition or conditions, right? So the schedule of ratings is gold. That is the piece that you need to know. What I tell people is, look, you need to go through that schedule of ratings and read. You already know that you're diagnosed for the condition, so that part's taken care of. What you need to do is figure out what signs and symptoms that equate to whatever rating. Which one do you fall in, right? Am I 10% with these signs, symptoms, conditions, or am I a 30 with these signs, symptoms, and durations, or am I a 50 with these signs, symptoms, durations, so on and so forth, right? Depending on the condition. So in this situation, you will read through it. There might be a handful of things on there, and you're going to go, yes, I meet all of those, because you know, you are the patient. You know if you're experiencing X, Y, or Z. You need to write that down verbatim so you can articulate it yourself in the C&P exam. Too many times people go into these C&P exams. They have no clue. They did zero homework. They have no idea what they're going to be asked. They have no idea what things equate to what signs, symptoms, durations equate to what rating. They'll forget half of the things that they can even talk about in this thing, and they step on their own foot, and they put their foot in their mouth, and they screw it all up, and then they leave, and then they wonder why they got a 0%. It's because they didn't put any work into it up front. Then they got to appeal it, try to overturn it. It takes forever. So you talk about creating a bad experience going through the process. That's how you create a bad experience. So what you should do, again, get your DBQ, read through it, get a little bit familiarized, so at least it's not completely off the wall that you're being asked any of these things. Second thing, get your schedule of ratings so you can know exactly what signs, symptoms, durations, whatever it's talking about, equate to what percentage and which one relates to you, so you know, here's where I am, this is what I should be rated, this is what I need to tell the C&P examiner, so that way I can go ahead and get the rating that I deserve. Now, I'm going to link in the comments below the schedule of ratings. You can get in there and you could dial down, keep hitting schedule of ratings underneath whichever book it is that you fall under, okay? And you'll get to the schedule of ratings for that condition. You can also Google the condition and say schedule of ratings. Sometimes attorney sites will show up, but it's basically the snippet out of the schedule of ratings in the Code of Federal Regulations, and it will list it all out for you, and you could do the same thing with that. Now, here's the important part as well. As you're going through that schedule of ratings and you're making all these notes, you can take those notes with you to the C&P exam. It's not like it's a closed book test. You can show up with your little notebook and you can open it up and you can say, I have these things. Now I'm going to give you a quick example and then we'll end it on this. Veteran A and Veteran B. Okay, Veteran A, diagnosed for GERD. It's horrible. It sucks. Super irritated all the time about it. Wakes up in the middle of the night, with his, GERD symptoms. And is diagnosed, like I said, and goes in to the C&P exam unprepared, Veteran A. And the C&P examiner, I'm going to really boil this down to just a couple questions. Just asks, essentially, in different ways, what kind of signs and symptoms do you have from your GERD? Well, it's really bad heartburn. Blank stare. The doctor looks at him. Is there anything else? It's just really, really, really bad heartburn. Okay? Anything else? Really, 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 really bad, super sucky heartburn. Okay, look, it doesn't matter how many times you say really bad. It doesn't matter how many times you say it sucks. It doesn't matter how many times you say any of that. All you're saying is heartburn over and over again. So that's your one symptom. Finally, maybe he coaxes you a little bit to say something else, and you say, well, sometimes I kind of throw up a little bit, because it just gets so bad that I'll kind of throw up a little bit in my mouth. Okay, now you got two symptoms. So now you've said two things. And then you leave it at that, and the C&P examiner tries to fish for some more. Veteran A gets a little bit irritated and just goes, it just sucks, that's all. And just gives some other, just it sucks. Or he got some advice from a buddy of his who says, say how bad it affects your work. I can't even work. Okay. Nowhere in the schedule of ratings does it say, does it affect your ability to work? So it really doesn't matter, really. So now this veteran says basically he's got heartburn and he's got some vomit with his condition. Veteran B read the schedule of ratings, goes in, and I may miss a couple here, but you're going to get my point. So reads the schedule of ratings, goes in, the C&P examiner asks, hey, tell me a little bit about your GERD. What kind of signs, or symptoms do you have with this? What kind of things are going on with your GERD? Well, doc, glad you asked. It's bad heartburn. I have pain in my substernum area. Sometimes the pain will shoot up into my shoulder. I have difficulty swallowing. Sometimes I'll vomit. I have regurgitation. I'm really fearful because, I know that the longer that it persists, that the more likely I can erode my esophagus and actually have esophageal cancer. And, that's really concerning because that's a huge impairment to my health. That is a much more coherent answer than it's just really, 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 really bad heartburn. And those are a list of signs and symptoms of GERD listed in the schedule of ratings for a 60% rating. Okay? I think there may have been, like lost some weight or something like that in there too. I can't remember all of them. So, but the point is that you can go in prepared and know what signs and symptoms you have on that condition versus not being prepared. And it could be a huge swing. So the difference could be veteran A could be at 10%, where veteran B, who went in prepared, could be at 60. And we all know the VA funny math, and you need a few large percentages to get you over that hump, to get you to be able to land at a much healthier percentage and potentially at that 100% rating. So with that, I'll go ahead and cut it off. I know it was a little bit long, but this is the moment to shine and come in prepared, is at the CMP exam. All right, with that, if we don't take care of each other, hey, something went wrong. So have a great one.